Welcome to That Money Lady podcast, where we spill the tea and talk about it because there are so many different pieces of being a business owner. And the most critical piece, which is finances, we don't have open, honest discussions about that in our society to set you up for success. So, for my beautiful peace warriors of the world, this is for you. Information provided in this video is not a substitute for professional financial services or legal advice. This is for educational purposes only. The graceful penny is not responsible for actions users take based on the contents provided. Always seek professional help regarding your unique situation and business needs. Music provided by the beautiful Sonal Madani. Welcome back to That Money Lady with me, your host, Audrey, your friendly money maven. And today we're going to talk about something that can really make or break your business, and that's financial clarity. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your business numbers or unsure about where your money is actually going, this episode's for you, and you are absolutely not alone because that is so common. And the idea that as soon as you get into a business, you automatically know all of these things, it's just not true. So we're going to break down the key numbers you need to know to track, why they matter, and how getting clear on them will help you make smarter, more confident business decisions. Because when you understand your numbers, you stop operating from stress and start leading from confidence, from a place based in reality. And that's really powerful. So let's take the mystery out of your business finances and make it simple. So let's start. So why does financial clarity matter so much for you as an entrepreneur? Couple points. One, confidence comes from knowing your numbers. When you don't know where you're at with your finances, every business decision feels like a gamble because you're just throwing money at places without understanding where it's going, if it's bringing you a result, and if you're headed in the direction you need to be. Financial clarity gives you the data to make informed strategic decisions. And that's when you have choice and you're being empowered with your business, and you are taking the reins instead of your business controlling you. You're more directing your business in the goal and the vision of what you're trying to accomplish. And the second point is you can't fix what you don't measure. So if you don't know where your money is going or where it's coming from, you can't improve your cash flow, your profit, like your bottom line, your profitability, or even your pricing strategy. So your business communicates to you through your numbers. The more you peel back the layers and take the time to understand what that language is communicating to you with, that's when, again, you are in the empowerment of your business and you are the embodied CEO of your business. And then there's the third point, which is clarity reduces stress and overwhelm. And we all need more of that as a business owner. So when you know exactly what's coming in and what's going out, you can plan ahead instead of reacting to every financial challenge. So we've all had a moment where we were in reaction with our finances. Even me, I'll raise my hand. This is very human. There are times where you do make that not mistake, that you learn that lesson of being in that impulsive decision with your finances, and you might make an investment you learn from. I absolutely believe that it's a learning experience, and it's a positive one. And the more you infuse that understanding and those steps at the beginning, but even when you make an investment that might be a learning from, you learn and you take it and you appreciate it because it is that beautiful learning experience that you did need. And that is power. And that's how you progress. That is how you grow. So when you do take that time to understand what you need and where you're going, that's powerful. And when you sit down and map out and understand where not only your income is coming from, but also what the expenses are going out, you're able to understand your profitability and where you're at with that. And also, you get to understand how to time your payments. That is something that I actually just got a text this morning about. Somebody who reached out was like, okay, now I just did a big move. Now I'm handling this. How do I make my payments work and making sure everything is covered? Actually, I think it was Thursday. I had another meeting with somebody who said the same thing. They're like, I want to make sure that because I have these late payments, but it's silly because I have the money in my bank. It's just I didn't pay it because I didn't know the flow of my finances. This is common. It's just about taking the time to peel back those layers and making the systems and the structure work with you and for you so that you are taking your best next step and you aren't incurring those very cruel, unacceptable in my eyes, late fees and penalties and interest. You are, again, taking the reins of your finances and taking your best next step forward. So let's transition a bit and let's understand what are key numbers you need to be tracking. First, the money coming in, revenue. Revenue it's also called income. It's also called, you can call it services, sales. There's a million different words for this one thing. It's whatever money coming in means to you. So it's all of the money that's coming in is what you need to be tracking. But the key isn't just to track it, it's to understand where it's coming from and which stream is most profitable. Because if you just have one account that is just like, okay, here's the money coming in, that doesn't help you understand what is selling best and what is creating that revenue for you that is supporting you. And I will say that if you're just starting out and you're just getting all of the pieces together, breaking this out isn't as essential, and it isn't something that everyone's able to tackle right away, especially if you're a product-based business. I don't want to make this sound like a shame thing. This is something that you get to work towards. If you're service-based, it's easier to break it out right away. But if you are product-based and you're just like all of these things, it can be overwhelming because you're tracking so many different things. That being said, the more you track from the beginning, you are implementing that system to be able to let it grow and support you as you grow and support yourself. So I will say that. The second thing to be tracking is your expenses, which is all the money going out. And I'm somebody that is just as grateful for the money going out as the money coming in, because that means you had the money available to be able to pay that thing that supported you. And we are definitely in a weird time where there are clear price gouging, unacceptable price gouging, but from big conglomerate monopolies that aren't here to empower people, or it's just strictly for their profit. That is something we are absolutely dealing with. But I got off on a tangent on that. I am definitely a people and planet over profit type of lady, because we need to come together to support each other in a collective and being able to be a part of the solution that lifts everyone up. It does not mean you do not make a profit. It does not mean that you don't earn the wage and the amount that you provide. I am not saying that at all. Please do make that money, grow your business and yourself to the level that you want to grow. It means you do not actively take advantage of people just for your profit and padding your own wealth. That is the difference. So that is, I am forever a people over profit. Does not mean you don't make a profit, does not mean you do not earn a profit, does not mean you do not keep your profit. It means that you do not put that profit over people when you are making your decisions. That being said, you track your expenses. So again, I went off on a tangent on that, but knowing your total expenses is great. But when you break it down, you want to start breaking it down into different categories so that you know what you're spending your money on, and making sure that as you see that it's on your profit and loss. That's the statement that you can pull if you are using a software, is you pull your profit and loss and break it out into these categories so that at a glance you're like, okay, this is how much I'm spending on office supplies. Maybe I have a Post-it problem, which don't look in my drawer. I absolutely do. But I was also given most of those Post-it. But yeah, there are things that you can look at and be like, I should rein in my spending a little bit here. But that's the empowerment part. You get to spot the areas that you can start saving, or be like, okay, now I see why this isn't working for me, because I am losing so much money in, let's say, dues and subscriptions. That tends to be a spot where entrepreneurs are like, okay, I need this software, great. And they buy it. and it just keeps taking the money out because that's how it works. It's just auto subscription. That makes sense. But then they forget about it. And then that's when they start losing money. And that's when they start leaking the money out and not being supported by their business. Okay, so money coming in, money going out. Now let's talk about profit. So your gross profit is your revenue minus the cost of goods sold. And then from there, you get your net profit, which is after that, you take out your expenses. And that's when you get your bottom line of your net profit. And I will say that your gross profit, if you do not have any products, you probably won't have that cost of goods sold section, and that's okay. It's just another section of the profit and loss for you to get a deeper understanding of what your numbers are saying to you, because when you have products, you want to know how much it costs to get that product out the door. That is a very different category than just like it's called your selling, general, and administrative. So all your expenses. So like rent, payroll, all of that sort of things. So there are different layers and levels to your profit and loss that you get to be empowered with by knowing your numbers and knowing how healthy your business is by looking at this. All right, now we're going to go to number 4, which is your cash flow. And cash flow is not the same as profit because there are those pesky things of debt that also goes into how all of the cash flow, because your liabilities get paid through your cash flow. And so that's not shown on your profit and loss. It's about the timing of when the money comes out and the money coming in so that your business can be profitable on paper. Because like I just said, your profit and loss may look like you are profitable on paper, but you're still struggling with cash flow because you are not counting your debt. So these are two different things that get to work together so that you can be empowered with your finances and making sure that everything is paid timely and you aren't overpaying or underpaying or getting those fees. All right. Now the 5th one is your accounts receivable and accounts payable. So knowing how much you owe is accounts payable. And knowing how much is owed to you is accounts receivable. Get it? Receivable, payable. Those are how you start to also incorporate understanding your cash flow and knowing the money coming in and going out. What is expected of you and what's expected of you, both in what you should expect coming in and what's going out and what is coming up. That was a lot, I know, but I believe in you. And these are big subjects, and I just don't want to say that tackling your finances when you first start is an uphill battle when you haven't ever had any of that to begin with. Any of this base understanding and base knowledge of how all of these pieces work on just a personal level. If you were just like kind of winging it as a human before you got a business and now you're in business and you're like, I'm still just kind of winging it. Know that is very common, and that is the go-to for most people. It's just about taking the time to pull that your beautiful little head out of the sand and take a look at your finances. Start looking at this. Understand these pieces and how they work with you and for you so that you can know what your best next step is with your eyes wide open. Because I promise you, when you have that understanding of what your best next move is or where your position is, you can know what your best next move is without the fear of uncertainty about just what's in black and white. There will always be uncertainty and there will always be risk. But as an entrepreneur, that's just how it goes. But you will be going at it from an informed place. It's also absolutely okay if you make a decision that on paper, it's like, this is a shit decision. Don't do it. But you do it anyway because you know it's the best decision for you. It's going to lift you up and catapult you in whatever way you are hoping. That's okay too. You just need to go at it with your eyes wide open so that you aren't getting caught blindsided with basically the shiny object syndrome. Here's a shiny object, I'm going to buy it and not think about the repercussions of what it means. It means here's shiny object. This shiny object will get me here. And I know exactly what it means for me and my hopes for how I'm going to handle it, but I at least have a plan in place for my hopes and my dreams of how I'm going to handle that. It's okay if those hopes and dreams don't actually come true. That is a learn from investment. And again, that's going to happen. There's going to be many pieces of that experience that you will have as an entrepreneur, hands down. And we're all subject to that. I'm not trying, this isn't a shame thing, this isn't a blame thing. This is just how it goes. Like, let's take me as an example. I had an investment probably about a year and a half-ish ago that it just wasn't for me. I learned a very interesting piece of how I need to operate and what I need in order to progress. And that just happened to not be it. But I also knew that human that I invested in, and I am not sad or upset about that investment. It was definitely one I learned from, but it didn't take away from, I'm grateful that I was able to invest in her, and grateful to be able to be guided by her in the extent that she did. I am very grateful for that. It's just, I was like, I learned very quickly in that one. And that's what knowing where you're at and where you need to go and what the gap is. And if you learn how you learn best, and if you are like, okay, now I understand how this piece works with me, great. Now take that piece and run with it. That is the piece we don't talk about enough in business, is the learning and how much you gain from that growth to be able to hit that exponential growth. It does take a lot. There are so many steps, and everyone comes at it from different layers to be able to take that best next step. It's just about knowing who you are and where you're putting your money and where your money is going and how it all flows together. Because when you start doing that, you're never upset about what you did. It's never a mistake. You don't blame yourself or what you invested in. You just say, okay, wasn't for me. Next. You can say, well, that sucked. And I really learned from that one. Like, I bought a piece of machinery I shouldn't have because that didn't actually do something for me or do the hopes and dreams that I wanted. But then you get to possibly sell that machinery. Like, there are so many different ways you can look at this. And it's just about looking at it with your eyes wide open and coming at it from a place with your heart, if that makes sense. So this is all about creating an aligned business. And when you start understanding these pieces, I'm going to assume you're listening to this because you are making money. You're probably making good money, but you don't have any idea where that money is going. I see that over and over again. And it takes you looking at your numbers. It takes you understanding and gaining this skill. I'm not here to gatekeep information. I'm not here to make you dependent on me. I'm here to make you independent. I'm here to lift you up and create a foundation and a system and a structure built and designed for you, with you, because I can create any system. Like, I really can, and I have many times. And if you are not a part of that system, if you are not active in what it means and how it works, it's never going to work for you and with you. There will still be that dead end at the end of the road. And unfortunately, the thing I see more often than not is getting in somebody like a bookkeeper that does not do the things that are beneficial for you. And we want things to be beneficial for you. That does take something from you as an entrepreneur. It takes you leading. And then once you lead and build this system and create this system to work with you and for you, that's when you can delegate, because you can check on that. And you best believe I teach you how to check on that, including check on me. I tell you how to look at your audit log. I show you how you can look to see what changes got made, when they got made, and who made them, because that is very important. It is very important for you to know all these pieces of your business, especially when it comes to your finances, because this is an essential piece of your business and it is the entire foundation. So the more you know, pull back these layers, understand how this works for you so that you can be set up for success. So if any of this resonates with you, send me a message. I would love to talk. I do a financial audit, paid financial audit, because I want you to have that understanding. I will give you the gaps. We will go through your books. We will see where the gaps are in your finances, and I will freely give that to you so that you can, and I will be very honest, if it makes sense to work with me on a larger scale, I will share that with you to be like, this is what I see. This is how I can help you. If so, if that's what I see and it feels aligned with you, great. If not, I'm happy to give you that cap to be like, oh, you just really need to ask your bookkeeper to do this instead. I share that with you. I'm not here to gatekeep information. One thing I see over and over in my industry is that keep like, oh, you need me. And I take that from you so that you always rely on me. I'm not here to make you reliant on me at all. I am not your mother. I am not here to be relied upon in that sense. The constant relying of you need me to pull a report. I'm here to show you how to pull your own report so that you are empowered with every aspect of your business. So if that aligns with you, let's talk. I would love to hear from you and learn about your incredible business and how you're changing the world to be a better place. Because when we come together, I think great things are going to or I know great things are going to happen because the things I'm seeing from y'all makes me so happy. So thank you for tuning in to That Money Lady podcast. And if you found it helpful, please like and subscribe. And I hope to hear from you. See you next week. Bye, guys. Information provided in this video is not a substitute for professional financial services or legal advice. This is for educational purposes only. The Graceful Penny is not responsible for actions users take based on the contents provided. Always seek professional help regarding your unique situation and business needs. Music provided by the beautiful Sonali Matani.